Thank you for taking time to chat with me. My name is Jeannie. I really, really enjoyed Jingle Jangle. Such a great message to release during these times, so needed. I
Thank
know that you also wrote as well as directed the film. Can you share what inspired the story?
just want a piece of my childhood. The movies that I grew up watching, Willy Wonka and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and the original Doctor Dolittle with Rex Harrison and Mary Poppins. All those movies that I grew up, and just want to put something out in the universe like that, but that was representative of people of color, how the world looks, and that so that my son could see somebody that looked like him that was magical and wonderful, and the world would get a chance to see a different take on a holiday classic.
Well, you segued into my next question because I was going to say that it is absolutely awesome to see a predominant Black cast. And I'm a Latina, so to see the little
There you go.
the little Spanish
Ricky, Ma-
boy was
Ricky Martin's up in there. You represented too up in there.
exactly. um, but can you talk a little bit more about the importance and the significance of there being, wholesome content for people of color?
Well, it's everything. This is my fifth film, and my son cannot sit down with me and watch not one of my films from the beginning to the end because they're just, a little bit mature for him, and some of the, themes aren't appropriate. But I want to sit down. I want to sit down as a family. I want to sit down with my son. I want him to see what his father does. Last night we went with eight of his. We bought out a theater and where they were showing Jingle Jangle. It's in the theaters for a week before it hits Netflix. At different places in the theater, and with his kids, and when I went with his friends, and it was like, uh, hmm. So for my son, and he saw his name up, and he saw himself because I had a scene where he was in this Victorian era, him and my wife, and he saw himself, and he leaped up out of his seat and told all his friends, "Look, that's me," and they were like, "Elias," and that's everything.
Mm,
That's everything.
mm,
That's winning. That's what. And if I feel this way, imagine how many people of color feel the same way, and the same joy that they will have with the film. And that's everything to me.
mm,
Representation is everything to me.
mm.
And I think the world needs this as much as our communities need this.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for creating moments like that for families. That's really special. In the film, we see how injustice and grief can really affect someone and everyone around them. What message would you like for viewers to get from that?
Is healing. There's healing and forgiveness. Um,
Mhm.
there's healing and I'm sorry. Very simple words, but there's healing in it. There's healing for the person, and there's healing for the person who hears it. And all those themes I weave through here in the midst of a big, magical, and wonderful film. But there's something for everyone. There's something for generations, the parent and the kid. There's a lot for us to take away from. So um, probably the biggest thing for me is that there is wonder and magic and love and light and heart in us all if we're willing to give into it, if we're willing to trust it and have faith in it, and that's probably the biggest thing for me, for the message for the world, but it's really a message for me.
Mhm.
Art begins with speaking to yourself. And that's a message I needed to be reminded of. This film, I needed to be reminded of that things work when you believe,
Mm.
and so I hope the world will get that same message too.
That's so good. That because we have an audience of people of faith. So
Mhm.
that's really what, stuck out to me. I do think that it's very easy to do like Mr. Jangle did. We can allow the circumstances of life to just keep us in a place. But I loved that, there was belief. Belief was a theme in it. What could the audience of faith take from this film?
I think, one of my favorite lines in the film is, never be afraid when people don't see what you see. Only be afraid if you no longer see it.
Mm,
And that line resonates so really well for me because I grew up, one of my favorite scriptures is faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen.
mm,
That the worlds were framed by the word of God, so the things that appear were made from things that didn't appear.
yeah.
So even if you're looking at faith, you say not only faith for us as an individual, but faith for God. What kind of faith did he have? He created things, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So even God had to have faith to make the foundation of the world because they appeared from things that didn't ever appear.
Mm,
And so this whole faith thing is such a spiritual thing. Creativity is such a spiritual thing.
yeah.
And so, that's just for me. I grew up in three generations of holiness preachers. So that's kind of just who I am.
Yeah.
And it comes across through my work. And I'm thankful that we were able to weave these kinds of themes and things that people can hang on to and take away from the film.
Absolutely. I agree. It was very powerful. Last thing, in Journey's character, we see the boldness of a child.
Mhm.
Regardless of what's happening in the world, what can we learn from the next generation?
I think we can learn that you have to be taught to not believe.
Mm,
Belief is something we were born with. We're taught to not believe. We're taught to believe we can't fly. We're taught to believe that we're not magical and wonderful.
mm,
These are all things that we're taught. When you're born, the sky is the limit. You're taught to have a ceiling on you.
whew,
And so through the eyes of a child, we get a chance to see someone who has not been taught.
mm,
And so through life and through this character, hopefully people can now see, well, now what I've learned, what I have been taught, is time for me to unlearn,
mhm, mhm.
in many ways. So I hope that comes across.
Yes, thank you so much. We're gonna add preacher to your title soon,
Well,
huh?
well, well, that's kind of in the bones. My great grandmother, Pastor Annie Mae Woods, was one of the founding pastors of the Pentecostal movement in Washington, D.C. And
Wow,
so that's all I know.
that's right. What comes naturally. Is there anything else you'd like to add about Jingle Jangle or anything else?
Oh, just as I can't wait for people to see it and be caught in the joy and celebration, the song, the heart, and just thank you, to everyone who supported this film and supported my career, from plays to film to now this event. So I'm excited. So thank you.